सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 मौनेन मज्जन्मनसा स्वमूल चर्चैव सत्यात्मविचारणं स्यात् एषोऽहमेतन्न मम स्वरूपम् इति प्रमासत्यविचारणाङ्गम् गवेषणात् प्राप्य हृदन्तरं तत् पतेदहङ्ता परिभुग्नशीर्षा अथाहमन्यत् स्फुरति प्रकृष्टम् नाहङ्कृतिस्तत्परमेव पूर्णम् अहङ्कृतिं यो लसति ग्रसित्वा किं तस्य कार्यं परिशिष्टमस्ति किञ्चिद्विजानाति स नात्मनोऽन्यत् तस्य स्थितिं भावयितुं क्षमः कः अहङ्कृतिं यो लसति ग्रसित्वा किं तस्य कार्यं परिशिष्टमस्ति किञ्चिद्विजानाति स नात्मनोऽन्यत् तस्य स्थितिं भावयितुं क्षमः कः यः अहङ्कृतिं ग्रसित्वा लसति dances moves grooves when after having swallowed up ahankriti. What is ahankriti? Another name, a nicer sounding name for ahankara. Ahankriti feminine, ahankara masculine, that's all. And but same thing, both are same. Then kim tasya karyam parishishtam asti. This is taken from the Brihadaranyaka Vakya. And two Vakyas in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. One of them has to do with what I quoted yesterday. I think 442 or thereabouts. And what does it say? Atmanam, Atmanam ched vijaniyat. Ayamasti iti purushah. When one knows the Atma, I am this alone, iti. When the person knows the Atma, tataha, then in that case, kimartham, for what purpose, kasya kamaya, to fulfill what desire, shariram anusanjvaret, will enter into a feverish activity to get things, whatever it is, because here is a person who is completely contented with oneself and not interested in getting anything. This pressure to fulfill the desires is not there, and so there is no movement for action. So that is one vakya. We'll be looking at that. And then the other vakya is both from the Brihadaranyaka and the Chandogya Upanishad, Chandogya chapter 7, Brihadaranyaka 4:3 something, 4:3:33 or 33 to 35 thereabouts. And then here this is the kinchid vijanati sa na atmanah anyat. Sah atmanah anyat na kinchid vijanati. That is how to put it in prose. Other than the Atma, the person doesn't know anything. Na anyat pashyati, na anyat shrinoti, na anyat vijanati, yatra sa bhuma. This is from the Bhuma Vidya. And then in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also, let me see if I can get that citation. 1 second. So I had it open somewhere. Yeah, so it was, I can't find it now. I think I must have closed that, closed that window. But I'll look it up tomorrow and give you the exact thing. But basically, it's the exact same thing. Um, न द्रष्टुः दृष्टेः विपरिलोपो भवति. This is the sentence. And that leads to again something similar to na anyat pashyati, na anyat shrunoti, na anyat vijanati, all these things. So what is this drashtuhu? Drishtéhe viparilopah asti. So here for the seer, drashtuhu, for the seer, drishtéhe, of the seen, viparilopah means the unseeing of it never happens. So one is constantly seeing. How can one be constantly seeing? Because whatever one is seeing is oneself alone. That is the idea. That one is never absent. And so if the whole universe is dependent upon oneself, then there is no absence at all. Whatever one sees is an extension of oneself. So the first quotation, as I told you yesterday, forms the subject matter of the 7th chapter of the Panchadashi. That one thing. Kimartham kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvared. For what purpose will the person who knows the Atma as I am indeed this whole, this limitless whole, why will they continue to act after this? This is a very wonderful quote, because in this quote we see that we see this coming to the fore. And what is it that's coming to the fore? The fact that all actions and the impetus for the actions drop after self knowledge. And this is kind of something that is greeted by everybody pursuing this knowledge with both a good dose of disbelief and also dejection at the same time. Oh, they treat it as a jail sentence. It's supposed to be free, moksha. But then what? I'm supposed to be, I can't do anything. It feels like a punishment. It's not, you can't do anything. We have to understand this very clearly. There is nothing to do because you do not want anything. Oh, but I don't want anything. That's a sad life without wanting. Who says it's a sad life without wanting? It's actually a very wonderful life. It's a wonderful life to not want, because the want is what is keeping on, what you are keeping on wanting all the time. That itself is samsara. Wanting is samsara. So, therefore, non wanting is moksha, is freedom. So, oh, but then if I don't want anything, the drama from life will go, and what will I do all day long sitting and just twiddling my thumbs? That's not what it is. And so here you don't have to do anything. That is the idea. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna asks Arjuna to fight. And he says it's not fair. All those sadhus and sannyasis are sitting nicely and getting free food, and here you are asking me to fight. How is this fair? And why shouldn't I also wear orange and go to Haridwar? From Kurukshetra, you can easily walk to Haridwar, maybe in a day or day and a half. And he could have gone. He wanted to go, in fact. But Lord Krishna stops him. And then he says, this is not the way for you. Why? Why should I have to act? He says, I don't want to act. I also want to be like these people. Says, and then he explains to him, don't act on your own behalf. You don't want to act? Okay. Act on the behalf of all the people who need that action, who can benefit from that action. Because you are a leader in the society. And if you just sat still in one place, they will all get demotivated. Yadyad acharati shresthaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartante. Yad yad acharati shreshtha. Shreshtha means the exalted person in society, a leader, somebody who is a firebrand, who is extremely influential, inspiring. Maybe not Vedanta wise, but somebody who has a lot of money is also influential and inspiring. So such people, can't afford to sit still even after Atmajnanam. That is the idea. Why? Because yadyat acharati shreshtha, exactly how the conduct of the shreshtha is, tattad eva itaro janah. All the people who look up to this person, they also will behave the same way. Like leader, like follower. They also behave the same way. I was once at an interfaith meeting, and then there was some big teacher that came, spiritual teacher, and everybody stood up because they thought, oh, he has entered the room. So out of respect, everybody stood up. And I was not in the line of view of whoever had come to the room. So I was just wondering why people are standing. And then I saw this person, and then I thought, oh, I didn't know who it was. So I said, what's going on? And the person next to me said, oh, this is a very big person and very big leader and spiritual, messenger and teacher and all this and everything. And then so they all clapped and they sat down. And then they were disappointed because it wasn't him at all, because it was his disciple who had decided to look just like him. Same hairstyle, same kind of clothes, same mala, same mannerisms, same way of talking. He just fooled all 350 people sitting there. He fooled all of them. And so Yadyad acharati shreshtha, I remembered this. And so this is not the kind of conduct we are talking about, but we are talking about, other things. Like if you see, if the leader does a certain thing, then the followers also do the same. If the leader flouts dharma, the followers will also not be dharmic. Therefore, this is exactly what has to be taken care of. So Arjuna is told, यद्यद् आचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेव इतरो जनः स यत् pramanam kurute. Pramana means the kind of sankalpa. Pramana here is not means of knowledge. Okay, don't say, are we talking of pratyaksha, anumana, arthapati? All this doesn't come here. So, what comes here? This is pramana means here sankalpa. Whatever intention they make, whatever they think to themselves, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Lokaha tad anuvartate. The people also do exactly like that. Further, Lord Krishna continues. Name parthasti kinchit trishu lokeshu kaschana. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. Nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva sakarmani. यदि ह्ययं यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मणि तन्द्रितः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोकाः न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामि माः प्रजाः. Look, he says, furthermore, what do I have to accomplish in this universe? I didn't even create the universe, create within quotes, the universe out of my own free will, mind you. It was the jivas clamoring for expression. Because of that, the universe was a stomping ground which was made for them. And then, so I have really nothing to do with this universe. Name parthasti kartavyam. I have no duties here. Not only in this world, but in all the three worlds, I have no duties. Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Na anavaptam avaptavyam. Neither do I have anything that is not gained. Anavaptam avaptavyam. Anaptam avaptavyam. And so if it is anap, Anapta, not gained. It is to be gained. I don't have any such thing. There's no unfulfillment in my heart. There is nothing that I have to gain, that I want to gain. Absolutely not. And then, but still, varte eva cha karmani. You still see me engaged in action. Yesterday, I made short shrift of the serpent. In my childhood, I troubled Mother Yashoda a lot and all the other gopikas. And I stole some butter. And then, I did this, I did that. So many things he says. But you still see me engaged in action. Yadi aham navarteyam. If I am not engaged in action, jatu karmani tandritah, if I'm not engaged in action all the time, then mama vartma anuvartante. Everybody will follow my lead. Who? Manushyaha. These crazy people will do exactly. They'll say Bhagavan is not doing anything, and they will also not do anything. Go figure, right? Yeah, they will also not do anything. And then what? So, Mama Utsideyuhu ime lokaha. And in these lokas, it's just it's not the lokas, it's the people in the lokas. Utsideyuhu, they become neglectful, lazy, and just, they're not interested in anything, apathetic. Oh, let's go do that. Why? Like this. And then Sankarasya Kartasyam. I will become the cause of Sankara. Not to be confused with Shankara, those are different words. Sankara means mix up. Mix up. I will be causing people mix up. Where? In their heads, in terms of their priorities. They will say, oh, Bhagavan has nothing to accomplish and therefore is not doing anything. And so I also won't do anything. And then finally, because of this, tasmat, upahanyam imaf prajaha. I will destroy all these people. I will destroy them. As good as destroyed they will become. And so, you see, even I am engaged in action. Oh, what are you doing? I'm teaching you right now. He can tell. He can tell Arjuna, I'm teaching you right now. I'm engaged in action. You can't say, what are you doing now? I'm driving your chariot. I'm multitasking. How much more do you want me to do? I'm driving your chariot. I'm making sure that you don't get into trouble and all the and avoiding all the astras coming hither and thither. All the weaponry, and I am, I'm also teaching you Brahma Vidya. I think that, that qualifies like a full day's job. What more do you want me to do? Very interesting. So here we see some, we see this, and we see Adi Shankara. We see so many, Pujya Swamiji as well. So much activity. He would just not rest. Whether he was sick or whether he was well, he would just, whatever he wanted to, wherever he was called to go, he would go. Whatever needed to be done, he would do. And this way, he inspired so many movements and so many people. So, why is it that some jnanis just sit in one place? And this is the question where we stopped yesterday, and don't do anything, whereas others are always engaged in activity. It is because of the prarabdha. That's what it is. It is because of the, how to say prarabdha in English, I don't know, because of the karma at birth. The karma that was born along with the body is called prarabdha karma. So because of this karma, this particular type of karma, there is a lot of, what is that called? There is a lot of activity for some people. Madhukari vritti. Vritti means livelihood here. And don't think it is akhanda, kara, vritti, and don't go there. Okay, sometimes words have more than one meaning. And so, so this madhukari vritti means the lifestyle of a bee. What does the bee do? flit from flower to flower to flower. That is one mode of living that is accepted. That's sadhus will keep moving around except during Chaturmasya, during the rainy season. For 2 months, they stay put in one place because of the fact that they have, they don't want to step on insects and worms coming out during the rainy season, purely out of ahimsa. So, other than that, they are allowed to move around and they keep moving around like bees from flower to flower. And, the bee sucks the nectar and then goes to another flower, and that's how it lives. So, this is one lifestyle, the traveling mendicant, the wandering mendicant. One lifestyle. Another lifestyle is Python lifestyle. Python, Ajagari Vritti. Ajagara means, the Python. Ajagari Vritti means the Pythonic lifestyle. What does the Python do? Just sits and waits. Doesn't even move. Just sits and waits, and its eyes are very glassy. It looks kind of dead. It has spread itself on the floor, flattened itself, and it looks like a. I actually saw this once in Australia. I was trying to cross the, just not even cross. I was just walking on this path, and then it was just a regular path in the woods. It had a cover of some leaves and everything, and then the person who was with me, a local, said, "Stop, stop, stop. Something looks funny about those leaves." Those leaves were just patterns of camouflage on this python. It had flattened itself. It was just so still. Only the mouth was open. Anything comes. Finished. Gone. Swallowed. And then and then it has to digest it. So it winds itself around the tree so that the food can nicely digest. This is what it is. So this is ajagari vritti. But only this much is the example. It's not that the sadhu preys on unsuspecting animals or even people for that matter. Don't go there. Okay. So meaning sitting in one place and not moving. So this is basically the idea. But what is common, regardless of whether one is a wandering monk or one is a stationary monk, is that there really is nothing to do for oneself. It's not that there is nothing to do, period. There is nothing to do to accomplish something for oneself. Therefore, one is better able to be there for others, freer. The free will is not all caught up in some kind of reproduction of something or the other. Some raga, some dvesha, keeping something that you don't want at bay takes a lot of energy, and reproducing something that you want also takes a lot of energy. And so here, that is not where the energy is expended. They are fine, however it is, because they have eaten up the ahankara completely. And then, so that is the first Vakya from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And then he gives one more reason. Na kinchid atmanah anyat vijanati saha. And this reason comes from the Bhuma Vidya, where the Bhuma Vidya means the, what is that called? Seventh chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. Bhuma Vidya. And what is this Bhuma Vidya? What is this Bhuma? Bhuma is another name for Atma, used by Sanat Kumara, the teacher of sage Narada. Then why not just call it Atma? Well, would he have listened? Because everywhere Atma Brahman, Atma Brahman, Atma is an overused word, and so perhaps to make a splash, to call to the attention, the word Bhuman is used, declines exactly like Atma. So the first, when you refer to it in the nominative, it is always Bhuma. So he teaches him or something called Bhuma Vidya, the knowledge of Bhuma. This also sounds funny. It's like saying the head of Rahu. Head of Rahu means what? What is Rahu? All head. Only head. So head of Rahu, it is just a, as though sixth case, possessive case. Aupachariki Shashti. Head of Rahu. Tail of Ketu, like that. Tail itself is Ketu, head itself is Rahu. So the knower of this Bhuma itself is Bhuma, Brahman. And so here the Narada goes to Sanat Kumara for instruction. And then he is told, first tell me what you know, and then I'll teach you. And to Sanat Kumara's surprise, who is Sanat Kumara? One of the sages at the feet of Lord Dakshinamurti. Please don't ask me which one. Any one you pick, there are four. And then one of them definitely will be Sanat Kumara. Whichever one you pick will be Sanat Kumara. So there are four sages depicted at the feet of Lord Dakshinamurti, and then Sanat Kumara is the direct disciple of Lord Dakshinamurti. So Narada goes to him and says, Bhagavah, Shochami, Shokasya param tarayatu bhavan. I still grieve. Still, still means what? Still means I'm not able to sit still, therefore I grieve. Still means that even after accomplishing so much, even after having so much, even after gaining so much knowledge, I still grieve. Okay, tell me, what do you know? What is it that you know? Well, I know Rig Veda, I know Yajur Veda, oh Dvivedi, I know I know Sama Veda, Trivedi, I know what else is left, Atharva Veda, Chaturvedi. I know all the things connected to the Vedas. Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Niruktam, Chandas, Jyotisham iti. These are called, the Angas, the various limbs or addendum to the Veda. Me, I'm there. I know. All right, what else do you know? Then I know Nakshatra Vidya. I know all about the stars and their placements. I know astronomy. I also know astrology. And I also know how to conduct warfare, how to just, command an entire army. I know that. I also have the knowledge of weaponry, and I know how to cook. I know how to clean. He keeps on listing all kinds of things. And then what? Sanat Kumara says, well, okay, enough. Because now I know why you grieve. Oh, why do I grieve? You are subject to sorrow because you know a whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing is nothing. A little bit of nothing is nothing. A little more of nothing is also nothing. You seem to know a lot of names and forms without understanding that one thing because of which name is, form is. That's what you don't know. You don't know what makes a thing because a thing is not a thing really. In Sanskrit, the word thing is used for Brahman. Vastu, it is usurped by Brahman because that's the only thing. Because of its presence, everything else exists. It exists, everything else exists after. It is an as though projection of this very same Brahman, relies on Brahman, non separate from Brahman. Everything is Brahman, but Brahman is not any one thing. Just like the whole entire world of earthenware draws its sustenance from clay, made of clay, goes back to clay, sustained by clay. In fact, all the pots are clay, but is clay pot? No. So Vedanta is like this. It's a one-way street, one-way ticket. Anywhere you go. Everything is Brahman, and in order for Brahman to be everything, it cannot be any one thing. It absolutely cannot be any one thing. And so therefore, this is what he taught. Alpe sukham nasti. The problem is you know everything finite without understanding its infinite underpinnings, so to speak. You know everything that is finite. And then alpe sukham nasti. In finitude, there cannot be happiness. Why? Because you gained the finite, but you yearn for the infinite. And the infinite being you will always be elusive. You look high and low for it. Like the pickpocket who wanted to steal the money which was in his own, which the other man had kept in his own bag. He looked everywhere except in his own bag. That is exactly what the person does. And the I not being an object is not something to gain because it's already gained. It is a self effulgent I which is already gained. So there is nothing to gain here. There is only a whole lot of assumptions to drop. That is all there is. There is nothing to gain. Absolutely nothing to gain. And so, therefore, Sanat Kumara says, Alpe, Yad Alpam Tat Martyam. That which is suffering from smallness is finite, is subject to coming to an end. And even if you have it, you will be separated from it because it will come to an end. Alpe sukham nasti. There is no joy in alpa. Alpa means what? Very small. In that which is finite. There is no sukha. And then he says, Tanna Bhuma. That is not Bhuma. That is not Brahman. Alpe sukham nasti. Yad alpam tad martyam, tan martyam, tanna Bhuma. Oh, that's not Bhuma. And what I want is Bhuma. Okay, what is Bhuma? Yatra tasmin vastuni, in knowing which, being which, what? Na anyat pashyati, na anyat shrinoti, na anyat vijanati, sabhuma. That is Bhuma. Here it's changed into the masculine because the word Bhuma is masculine. So that is Bhuma. What is Bhuma? Where the person does not see anything else. We'll just see the translation first. Does not hear anything else. Does not know anything else. That is Bhuma. Now, very interesting. Anything else means what? Anything else other than oneself. Wherever you look, it is you. There was a very great Swami Akhandananda ji, and in Haridwar, and so he was a very effective teacher. He has written some books also, taught in Hindi language. Very wonderful Swami, highly erudite and a great teacher. After he attained Mahasamadhi, means after he passed away, they made one kind of a, what is it called, a rahasya. Rahasya means a kind of a mystery room where you could experience the teaching. And so what is this mystery room? It's a room full where all the walls, the ceiling, the floor is mirrors, fully mirrors. And there is the statue of the Swami. They have made a sculpture of the Swami in the center. And then wherever you look, you see him and you see yourself, and you see him and you see yourself, infinitely projected everywhere, just completely. And so that is the rahasya, that is the mystery of this teaching. Very interesting. And so that is what this is kind of like. This is, yatra na anyat shrinoti, na anyat vijanati, na anyat pashyati, where you don't see anything other than you, where whatever you look at is you. Whatever you hear is not non-separate from you. What about heavy metal music? That is also you. But I'm closing my ears. You're closing your ears. but that's still you. It's a you that it's an aspect or a, it's a you that you particularly don't care about to care to experience, but it is still non-separate from you. In-law is you, outlaw is you, and everything is you. Outlaws, in-laws who behave like outlaws, you, and then and then sometimes outlaws behave like in-laws. Oh, that is also there. Yeah, so these things happen. I read somewhere recently that the house, somebody's house, rich house, big mansion, and lot of big front yard, backyard, everything. And two thieves went and they took everything. But then they were very, very, what should I say, clean people. And so they did not like the fact that the family that had been gone away for the weekend, they had not mowed the lawn. So they spent 2 hours mowing the lawn. This is Satyamidam. This is true. This really happened. And then, people think I sit here and make up stuff. Yeah, sometimes I do, but not in this instance. And so they mowed the lawn. For 2 hours extra, they stayed because the 2 hours was an estimate because of how big the lawn was. So they mowed the lawn. They mowed the lawn, and then of course it delayed their departure by 2 hours, and they were apprehended. It made them easy to get caught. This is what happens. So you see, there's all kinds of things in the world, all kinds of people who behave in funny ways. So these thieves, they behaved like guests or like family, and they wanted to help out and mow the lawn. And so like this, and of course, this is why there is this. What is that one section that comes called dumb criminals? This is how they get caught doing things that they are not supposed to do. But so the point is, everything is an extension of you. Who are you going to fight? Your own shadow. And who are you going to disagree with? Yourself. Who are you going to be protective of? Who are you going to protect yourself from? You, yourself. And who are you going to not, to disrespect? You. Who are you going to say, I'm not going to talk to you? You. Who are you going to fight with? You. Who are you going to disagree with and have an argument? You. Who are you going to, against who are you going to bear a grudge? You. It's all you. No, but that's difficult. Yeah, that's why. First, we have to, the first step is Ishvarification or Ishvarization. So whenever and wherever I said you say Ishvara, 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 Ishvara. You say Ishvara, and then you say and wherever I have said you replace with Ishvara. Then after that, the more you study, the clearer it will become that Ishvara is not anyone but you, and therefore there is nothing to fight against. And so therefore here also it is said there's nothing to disagree with. And here also the same thing is said. What happened to the text? Here it is. Here also the exact same thing is said. uh, Nata, na ahankriti, yeah, na kinchit vijanati, अनाथ न आत्मनः अन्यत् आत्मनः अन्यत् न किंचित विजानाति. Other than the I, nothing else is seen, nothing else is experienced. So this is oneness. Tasya sthitim bhavayitum kaha kshamaha. Even to imagine somebody living like this, how difficult is that? Who can? This is a rhetorical question. Who on earth can do this? Who on earth can even imagine what kind of a life is this, where everything is an extension of oneself? And fortunate are those, who have seen saints like this. It's just very, very beautiful, very, very amazing. And then, so that is the 33rd verse, 34th. Number 34 now. आहस्फुटं तत्त्वमसीति वेदः तथाप्यसम्प्राप्य परात्मनिष्ठां भूयो विचारो मतिदुर्लभत्वं तत्सर्वदा स्वात्मतया हि भाति आहस्फुटं तत्त्वमसीति वेदः तथाप्यसम्प्राप्य परात्मनिष्ठां भूयो विचारो मतिदुर्लभत्वं तत्सर्वदा स्वात्मतया हि भाति वेदः स्फुटम् आह. The Veda says clearly. Sphutam is an adjective which means clearly, without anything left behind to explain. Vedah sphutam ah. The Veda says, declares very clearly. Ah says, declares. What? Tattvamasi iti. You are the cause of the universe. You are that Ishvara you have been searching for. This is what the Veda says. Extremely clearly. Tathapi, even then, still, asamprapya paratmanishtham, not having gained the depth of understanding, even though the Veda says very clearly. Maharshi wants to make sure that you don't blame the Veda and say, it's not clear. It's the Veda's fault that I'm not a jnani. Nice try, but that's not how it works. That's not how it works. The Veda is extremely clear. And also, even if one Upanishad message you miss, there are so 108 Upanishads minimum. So the same message, ekavakyata. There is no internal contradiction, there is no external contradiction. It's all one and the same. So you can, even if one message of one Upanishad you miss, you can easily get all the other messages. So therefore, what? Here it says, Vedaha Vedaha Sputam Vadati. It says very, very clearly, what? Tattvamasi. You are Ishvara. You are one with the whole. This is what the Veda says. And then, Tathapi, even though the Veda is very clear, and Veda doesn't talk on its own, it relies on the Guru. It relies on the Guru to unfold the message. So the Guru, the Veda, if the Veda is clear, the Guru also is very clear. Guru is clear, Veda is clear. And still one doesn't gain the Atmanishtha, Swatmanishtha. And what is that, what is that Nishtha? Nishtha means Nitaram Sthiti, Paratmanishtha. The Nitaram Sthiti means the abidance, the deep and continual abidance in the I as non-separate from Bhagavan, into I as the whole. This continued abidance, not having gained. Repeatedly, the Veda is talking. Repeatedly, the Guru is talking. And then what? I haven't gained what the Guru has said. I haven't gained what the Veda has said. And then what will the Guru say? Ayushman Bhava, may you live long, that's all. And why may you live long? Because it's these are words of blessing. Why are they words of blessing? Because if you live long, you have a longer time to pursue this knowledge. Simple. So what else to say? So here Maharshi says that this is actually a very sad travesty, that despite having the teacher and despite having the Veda and despite the message of the Veda and the teaching being so clear, still one is not able to gain this knowledge. Not for want of buddhi or for want of reasoning or intellect, whatever it is. Not for want of not being able to see, but because The heart and the mind are, the heart is given over to other pursuits which make a demand on the heart, the space in the heart, the attention, etc. The heart is given over to other pursuits. And so there's just a little shred of the heart left for Vedanta. you know, the heart is in something. We talk about three kinds of binding desires. Vitteshana. Vittam means wealth. Putreshana. Putreshana means the progeny, the desire for progeny, children. Lokeshana. Lokeshana, Putreshana, and Putreshana, Lokeshana, and Vittaishana. Loka means various places. It can mean many things. First, I want to go to many places. It could mean wanderlust. Loka also means I want to experience various and many and varied things. That is also Loka, fields of experience. Loka also means I have things to accomplish. I want to be famous. I want to be really well known. So these are the three things that one has to give up if one wants this knowledge. That's not. If you are saying right now only three things, that means you haven't seen the depths of each of these things properly. It's a huge thing. And then even if you argue, I'm not that fond of children. I don't really, want children. But still, even people who say I don't want children, want to have an influence over young adults. That itself is enough. That itself is a desire for progeny. Or in the case of a sadhu, wanting a large following is a hidden form of this, what is that called? Putra eshana. Desire for progeny. So many people should look up to me and should listen to me and should do what I say. Why? Why should anybody do what you say? God hasn't given them a mind or what? Why should they listen to you? But this desire is there. It's a kind of a overlordship. And that is the thing. That's why much better to have children and, have that. If that is what you desire a lot. Otherwise, or otherwise, you overcome that desire through the determination and through study. You overcome that desire. And so this is Putreshana. And then Vitta, money. Money also means movable property, immovable property, all kinds of things. Assets, everything. And these days we have to add cryptocurrency, everything. All that people are investing in that also. It is called, what is that called? The famous one, there are many now. Bitcoin. It's called Bitcoin because actually it's not Bitcoin. It bites you afterwards. Yeah. When the value falls, it bites you. Yeah. Will bite coin, it should be. Yeah. And or somebody who had been bit by it might have christened it Bitcoin. We don't know. And so like this, all these, the desire to invest, the desire to keep on looking at the portfolio, keep on, excuse me, keep on looking at the stock market, up, down, buy, sell, buy, sell, like this. When the heart is given to all these things, this is Vitteshana. Lokeshana, oh, am I famous yet? Am I famous yet? Am I famous yet? How many people know me? How many people like me? How many people validate me? And I should achieve more. I should do more. I should get more. All these things that the heart is just given over. Where is the place for poor tattvamasi? There's no place. The heart is given over. It's not for want of understanding. It's not for the lack of having a proper guru. It's not the way Veda's fault either. It is just that one has been unable to overcome these roadblocks in the form of those three big desires, which are actually big. Big desires means they just inside them, like those Russian dolls. If you open Vittaishana, all these other nesting things will come out one by one by one. And if you open, Lokanam Eshana, if you open that desire for lokas, all kinds of experiences, the want for experiences, etc., will come out. And same thing with Putreshana. So like this, this is one of the reasons why Vedanta cannot be internalized. It becomes like a little hobby or a place of dalliance. Little bit of samsara, little bit of moksha. Why can't we get along? You cannot. You absolutely cannot. This is not something like I need to compromise and then poor thing, samsara will feel bad. So little bit of samsara, let it be there. It doesn't work that way. And then, so what does the person do? Maharshi here says that this person, bhuya vicharaha, meaning tries to, many meanings it has, many levels of meaning. One meaning we take is that tries to keep on listening to the teacher without the infrastructure. One meaning. What use is that? No use. Because if one could not gain the knowledge for all this time, is one going to gain the knowledge now? No. Because obviously the qualification is lacking. The heart is given over to various desires, or the heart is burdened by some kind of, what is that called, traumatic experiences. That is also there. PTSD, and now they say there is a new expression, CPTSD, childhood PTSD. Very helpful to look at all this. So all this has to be resolved. It's not your fault. Whatever happened is not your fault. But if that is hanging around, and if the CPTSD is wanting to come to every class, what will you learn? You're not able to assimilate that because it is creating a very powerful block. And there is a looping of that message. First, already one is hopeless, and then one comes to the class and listens to Vedanta with the same blockage, and the blockage further creates hopelessness. So the blocks have to be taken care of. Yoga is very good, pranayama is good, therapy is good, prayer is good. There are so many tools in our hands. But without helping oneself to that, if one keeps studying Vedanta, Maharshi says, no, don't bother. Bhuya vicharah mati durlabhatvam. No, durbalatvam. Mati durbalatvam. Durbala means weakness. Mati means buddhi. Weakness of the mind. Keeping on trying to study without there being a proper infrastructure is nothing other than a kind of a weakness of the mind, which can be overcome. It's not an incurable condition. It can be overcome, but somehow one is not overcoming it because of this hopelessness, because of fears, tears to begin with. And this is a sad travesty. Looking for this knowledge is a difficult thing. Human birth itself is a difficult thing. Trying to find the knowledge is a difficult thing. And then what? Gaining the teacher is a difficult thing. The 3 M's which the Viveka Chudamani talks about. Manushyatvam, human birth. Okay, that's achieved. And what's, okay, check. What's next? Mumukshutvam, the strong desire for freedom. Check. Yes, that is there, very much there. Then finally what? Mahapurusha Samshrayaha, gaining of the teacher to unfold the knowledge. All of them are there. Still, somehow, I keep doing bhuya vichara. Again and again, I keep asking questions. Again and again, I keep trying to understand this. Again and again, I keep doing this. Then what? This is Mati durbalatvam. This is weakness of resolve. Mati durbalata is weakness of resolve. Somehow the resolve did not go to the gym. Okay, so it has no muscles, and and so it just gave up. At the first try, it gave up, but still it wants to keep attending the class, and so this is what the very interesting problem is. Then finally he says, Tat sarvada, because what is missed here is the obvious. The obvious thing is what is missed. What is missed is Tat sarvada, that Tat which the Vedas talk about, Tattvamasi, that same Tat, that Ishvara, as oneself, sarvada, all the time, swartmataya vibhati. Swartmataya means in the form of your own Atma, it shines. In the form of your own self, it shines. So this is what is the most obvious thing. In fact, that is what is missed. It is the most obvious thing that is frequently missed. There is a story that is told. My teacher used to love telling this story, and it's a story about Sherlock Holmes and his sidekick. What was his name? Watson. So they went camping one time. And then at 2 o'clock or thereabouts, Sherlock shook Watson awake and said, What do you see? What is happening? Do you see? And Watson was sleepy. And then he said, Oh, Sherlock is waking me up. Let me get up. And he rubbed his eyes and he said, Well, horologically speaking, the ascendant is in Leo. Astrologically speaking, the ascendant is in Leo. Horologically speaking, it's just after 2 o'clock. And then meteorologically speaking, I think we'll have a fine day tomorrow. And he was going on and on. Sherlock Holmes said, Idiot, somebody has made off with our tent. That's why you're able to see the stars. So, like this story, it's the most obvious things that are missed. Most obvious, right in front. It's taken for granted. And here, the person, the dejected person, or the person with the finger in too many pies, iron in, iron in too many fires, too many pots on the fire, too many desires in the heart, or the person who is blocked because of pain, sorrow, etc., unable to live this knowledge, unable to see, is missing that which is already there. In fact, there is a way to make peace that is what has to be done. One has to learn to make peace with right now these desires are there and they are not going. You just accept that. And you can tell Bhagavan, it's you who put these desires into my head. That's why we want Bhagavan in the life. Ishvara in the life should be there. Because we need somebody to blame. And if you keep blaming the significant other, the word significant will go away and only the other will remain. That's what will happen. And so you can't blame the significant other. And your children, already are going like this. They're not listening to anything that you say, and so you can't put the blame on them. And so who are you going to blame? Make Bhagavan. No problem. This is not blasphemy at all in our tradition. And just say, you put these feelings, you put these desires in my heart. And already there is a certain space to wash your hands. It's somebody else's problem. What a relief. And same thing with trauma, pain, CPTSD. You say, this is the lot that you gave me. Did I ask to be born? No. That too in this family? No. This is the lot that you've given me. And when you say that, then it doesn't become your lot in a way. It's a powerful psychological insight to be able to just see things more objectively. And when you see it like this, You are in touch with Ishvara as the psychological order of things, where your own mad mind and all its machinations are included. Your desires, your trauma, your fears, your block, your resistance is gone. Why? Because it is just following a law. Given this background, this is what the outcome will be. It's not a mystery, it's a universal law. And then you can appreciate the law, which is very nice. Which is you have a little bit of space to appreciate the law. And then with the help of that space, you learn how to grow. So the question is, can you accept that this is, that these desires are there and they are not going away right now? Can you accept? And if your answer is no, I cannot accept, then I will say one more thing. Can you accept the non acceptance? No. Can you accept the non acceptance of the non acceptance? No. Can you accept the non acceptance of the non acceptance of the non acceptance? Yes, because time is up and otherwise you'll keep on going. Abba. Okay. So now we have a place to work from. First, we accept the non acceptance of the non acceptance of the non acceptance. And then, after that, with a little more love, we can accept the non acceptance of the non acceptance. And then we can accept the non acceptance. And then we can accept that right now, this is how things are. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.